If it hurts, you ain't afraid, no hits, you know it up, put on more steam. Projectile kickers, our quarterback, our leading our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, slides, through the game, tap, this is when it ends. Press you again, we're for the first minute. Carry the body, keep it there for 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. They said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team, and to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange color, their stupid
and you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
Tony Swanson says, SJD, will you ever go back on the Talkin VAWLS network?
Ooh, I like Talkin VAWLS. I think that's Boogie Bentley running the show over there, man. That's he's awesome at what he does. We actually were trying to get on his show during their stream for charity. Ended up not happening just by nature of the schedules conflicting. But yeah, absolutely, we'll make that happen here in the near future. Boogie does an awesome job, and they do an awesome job over there on that platform. So yeah, without question. Mean! Woo! My God! Gene!
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. It's a Sunday night. That excites me because it means fan call-in shows are back. Spring practice starts freaking tomorrow. It starts tomorrow. Dude, the casuals care. I mean, do the casuals care that spring practice starts tomorrow? I don't know that they do, but I get giddy. I get excited. Man, making the video this morning, talking about Nico, James Pierce. There's so many things that I'm excited about. I'm joined by the coaches, going to be joined by you guys, the heartbeat of the Talkin VAWLS Network. You, the audience, the listener, the fans, for the fans, by the fans. It's a fan call-in show. So we're going to put out the link to you guys here in just a minute. You guys are going to we're going to do things differently. I say you drive the show. I'm going to drive the show tonight. I've got some topics I want to get into, and then I'm going to open up the floor and let you guys dig into it. We're also going to talk a little bit about March Madness. I know. Hold on a second. What? Is Boogie sick? Is Boogie drunk on a Sunday night? No, but I think you guys want to talk about it. The brackets are out. We're going to look at that. We're going to break it down. Coach Rice is excited to talk about that. But man, oh man, let's Coach Jay, spring practice starts tomorrow. Are you as insane as I am right now? I'm so excited. If you can't tell, I'm ready.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped, dude. I love spring ball, man. It's the dead period, right? It kills me every year that we get in the dog days of summer after spring ball ends, and that's pretty hard too. But it's almost like a little shot into your arm, right? Just enough football to get you over the hump. Of course, Talkin VAWLS being year round, his kind of helped that subside just a little bit. But man, I'm fired up whenever these spring battles start to come up, and this Tennessee has a lot of influx of young talent over the past couple of years, so it's going to be really interesting to see some of this jockeying. I know we're about to get into it right now, but I'm fired up about this team, man. I think we're sitting on a good one, so we'll see what we got here pretty soon.
Yep.
Coach Rice, jump in there. I know you're fired up. I know you're ready to go. Yeah. You live on the edge of out of control. I feel like I drink a lot of energy drinks. I feel like you got caffeine running through your veins 24/7, all day, every day.
Coffee all the time. I mean, I'm so pumped. I mean, the position battles, both sides of the ball, on the offensive line. What are we going to see with the wide receivers? How many? I know we've all talked about how we'd like them to go about 6 deep, but we know Coach Heupel's he just hasn't done that. I mean, most he's gone really is 4, and I just think there's so much experience yet young athleticism mixed on this team that it's just great for spring ball. And I think generally we're pretty healthy. I mean, it's not like past couple years where we've gone into spring not having a linebacking core, not having a running back core. So I think it's just filled with excitement. I know we're going to talk about it a lot during the show, but I am pumped, and I know I'm living on edge right now because of Tennessee basketball. I had to kind of walk myself off the side of a building the other day.
Your Twitter's been entertaining from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it is. I had to pretty much walk out of class the other day. I said I got to take a second. I said, luckily the first half was in my planning period, so I got to, say a few words that I wouldn't say in front of the kids, but I definitely had to take a little, what they call a chill pill, and, calm myself down. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to spring ball. March Madness is one thing, and don't get me wrong, I love basketball. I love Tennessee basketball. But football is above everything. So I am so pumped and ready for spring ball. It's unexplainable.
Dropping the link out right now for Talkin VAWLS Elite and Higher. So if you're a member of Talkin VAWLS Elite or Higher, get in where you fit in. Do us a favor right out of the gate. Smash the thumbs up. Share this thing out. Let's get the diehards in here. Let's talk spring practice. Man, I'm fired up. Let's see who's in the chat. Robert was here bright and early. And said, Boogie, if you need me, here I am. He said, if Coach Jay or Coach Rice lets you down, I am here to pick you up. Tony Canada was also in the house. What's up, brother? Chuck Maines was here bright and early as well. Shane Mountain in the house. What's up, Shane? Bubbles is here. Says, been a minute since I've dropped in. LOL GBO. See, Bubbles, I would call you a casual. I would insult you. That's what I do. I insult the audience, and then they go to other channels and say, man, Boogie's a real prick. I got to do better. You're not a casual. You are here because spring practice is here. It's time to talk about it. Amber is in the house. Says, hello, Vol fam. Rocky Top Tom is here. What's Coach Rice, or what do you got up there?
I've already filled out a bracket.
Oh, there you go.
We're gonna break the bracket down first thing once we get the fans on here. Good old Nate Pruitt's in the house. I didn't even know it was happy. I didn't even know it was St. Patrick's Day.
I know.
No clue.
I had my green on all day, baby. I had my green on.
I got nothing. Eric's in the house. He's also in the back room waiting to jump on here. Mrs. Coach J is in the house. What is up? Kaylin is here. Says, glad I have this for my drive to Jacksonville. Maybe we'll stay live for, I don't know, 11, 12 hours, however long you're going to be in the car. We got you back. We got you covered. Rocky Top Tom is here with some bad news. Hang in there, brother. I know that's rough. Pets are a part of the family, man. I think back to a baseball game. We were going to do a live stream afterwards, me and the Indy kid and my cat. And Indy kid's a big animal lover, too. And I was like, man, I think the cat's going. I can't jump on. And he did the live stream by himself. Man, pets, they're part of the family. So hang in there, brother. I know it's tough. Retro's here talking nonsense. We got a couple of super chats here. Robert Clark, been a member for 21 months. Guys, get those memberships up to date. If you don't have your membership in, get it in because we're going to be doing these fan call-in shows every Sunday leading up to the orange and white game. Good old Nate Pruitt for 10 says, cover charge Boogie. Howdy, Coach J. Coach Rice, God bless Go Vols. Happy St. Patty's Day to my Irish brothers and sisters. Coach J, are you Irish? I bet you are.
Very much so, yeah.
Clearly. I knew
it. Yeah, very, very Irish. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Niarte Lekiel means stronger together. So,
family, like Talkin VAWLS.
That's right, baby. So, yeah.
I knew you were Irish. I knew it. Black Metal Banjo for 2. Dorothy, excited to get this year started rolling. Coach McGee in the chat for 10. Finally, time for spring ball. Coach, you better get on here and hang out. Just me and a bunch of coaches. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Tennessee Immortal, been a member for 3 months. Thank you for that support. All right, let's get Vol Girl for live. Jenny trying to disguise her name. Are you? Is this like a Clark Kent Superman situation, Jenny? What are we doing?
Do you hear me?
Right.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay.
Loud and clear, Clark. Loud and clear, Clark.
I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry.
Are you in some type of what do they call it? What's it called? Protection. What do they call it?
Yeah,
what is it called?
What, the witness protection program?
Yes, thank you, Eric. Witness protection program. Is that what's going on, Jenny? Is that what you're doing? All right. We got Smokey Vols in the chat as well. GBO, glad to be here tonight. Amber's trying to come on. Is Amber there? Amber is halfway there. Tom's in the house. What's up, Tom?
Hey, everybody.
Hang in there, brother. I know it's
that's
you got a lot going on, buddy.
It is tough. It is tough.
Let's go ahead.
I couldn't, man. The way how close my dog is to me, you're stronger than me, man.
Yeah, he's right here next to me.
Yeah. I feel for you, brother.
Yeah, that's rough.
Let me hit this super chat real quick from Black Flip Spaghetti for $20. That ain't cheap. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the clip. We appreciate that, brother.
Rocky Top!
Backflip Spaghetti. Is that a new name? I've never seen that name in the chat before. It says, let spring camp rumors / news flow. GBO. You know who I'm going to be going to tomorrow? I'm going to be going to VolQuest, and I can't wait to see Kaner practice report number 1. He's telling me who's stretching, who's running, who's getting loose. Oh, man, shout out. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. Team Alone. Been a member for 5 months. Appreciate that, brother. Joe Brown just became a new member. He's getting that membership updated. So shout out to Joe Brown. I know he's been a member for quite some time, but getting it renewed. We appreciate that. Wade Rouse for 5. Good evening, Vols fam. Can't wait for the season. And this one will be extra special with the addition of the new little Vols fan. Can't wait for fall. Yeah, shout out to Wade. Got a new one on the way. Said the next. Are you going to? Yeah, I mean, I know you got the Talkin VAWLS logo. tattooed on your body? Are you going to brand the baby when it comes out? I'm just curious. That was allegedly what I heard. I don't know. Amber said in the chat she's trying to get her things dialed in. Cody is here. What's up, my friend?
What's going on, boys?
Let's open with basketball, and then there's a bunch of football stuff that I want to get into. Some videos, some articles, some news, but it's Selection Sunday. You can see Midwest region comes out. Tennessee, a 2 seed. Man, it's like I'm so ready for spring because the baseball team dropped the series to Alabama. Basketball team gets embarrassed by Mississippi State. I'm ready to talk football, but we can talk basketball. Coach Rice, kick it off. What do you think about this seeding? 2 seed doesn't really surprise me, but what does the bracket look like? I saw some people complaining on Twitter saying it's a gauntlet.
It's rated as, according to several services, we are in the toughest bracket. According to how the seeds laid out, you know, they number 1 through 68, and we got the tough. When you combine all the numbers of all the seeds, we got the toughest bracket. Purdue, of course, we've seen them this year. Man Mountain at center, they're without a doubt one of the favorites. One team that I would, we'll probably run into the Sweet 16 is Creighton. They're a real good shooting team. They're very well coached. They're McDermott over there at Creighton. He has those boys very well coached. Of course, Kansas is in there. They're down this year because of injuries, but we saw them early in the year. And then Rick Barnes may get his rematch. His not rematch, but his game against his old school with Texas. So that'll be interesting. It's a tough bracket. Do I think Tennessee could come out? Obviously, y'all saw my bracket. I'm already in several groups that I've joined with some friends from out here and coaches. But it's going to be a tough road. But Tennessee's due, man. Tennessee basketball, it's due. We've never made a Final Four. We got a superstar in Dalton Connect. If you're going to make a run, you need that superstar to be able to get you in these games where, unfortunately, like the last game we played in, nobody was hitting and Connect just wasn't there. So, he just the whole team was just ugly. So, but hey, maybe that was a wake up call. I coming from the post game conference. And from what I know Zakai Ziegler, I know Josiah Jordan James and Vescovy and Connect and all those guys from what Nashat was talking about, they did not like how that happened. So they're going to come, they're going to bring it, they're going to change the way that they're not going to let that happen again. But for us to make it to the Final Four, obviously we're going to have to get through, I think, Creighton and Purdue. Those are going to be 2 really tough matchups. So
I saw something on Twitter. Is it Zakai Ziegler's cousin?
Yeah, his brother. It's
brother?
His half brother is on St. Peter's.
Anybody else a basketball fan that wants to jump in and comment on the bracket? Jump in there, Jenny Vols girl, Clark Kent.
I do not like that we're in Purdue's bracket. I can't stand them. I don't like how we were cheated in football that 1 year against them because that was some BS. And then in one of the NCAA tournaments, they shot a 3 at the last minute, but his foot was clearly out.
We've had bad luck against Purdue. I hate.
But most of it's been like stupid stuff that shouldn't have happened if the refs were doing their job.
Yep, you're right.
Ariel,
what do you think? All right, well, go ahead, Gene. Sorry, I didn't.
I was like, it is what it is. We look like crap against Mississippi State. I don't know what that is. And the thing is that was a bad game for Connect, and he still scored 14 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my thing, I'm looking at it. We had that awful game against Texas A&M earlier in the year, And then we went on a run. We won 8 in a row, and all it takes now is to win 6 in a row, and we're your national champions. So that's the way I'm looking at it. They took that game, learned from it. I know our seniors ain't gonna let that crap happen again. At least they don't want to have that feeling again. And if there's any competitor that's more of a competitor than Zakai Ziegler, he's not gonna let that crap happen again either. So, Eric, what were you gonna say about it?
I just feel like I have not seen a true identity from this team all year. And when I see us get into a physical matchup, it seems like we cower. Ron Slay said it best on the SEC Network this weekend when his version of our team made the run to the Sweet 16. They felt it in the practices leading up because they got physical with each other in practice. And coach called the practice off because there was a scrap with the big men. They started to put that chip on their shoulder, and that's when they knew they had something. I haven't seen that from this team all season. And it seems like when we get punched in the mouth, we cower and we don't respond. And I think Mississippi State punched us in the mouth and we just wilted right there.
Yep.
And that's what concerns me. I think if we're Elite Eight, I'm happy with the season because I don't see this team making a Final Four. I don't. And it breaks my heart to say that because Dalton Connect is very special and he will be a success at the next level, I think. But I don't see this team with an identity, and I think part of it's coach. I think we waffle between, are we going to pound it inside and use the bigs? Are we going to shoot threes all day? I don't feel like we have established an identity, and that's crucial in the NCAA tournament when it becomes a half-court game. So I'm not super confident. I'm just not.
They are very inconsistent. That is the problem. If that last 2 minutes of the Kentucky game where I was like, where was this the entire game? If they can play like that for a full game, they could beat anybody in the country. And I'm not even just they could be national championship caliber team if they played with that like that all game long and not just the last 2 minutes of the game. They need to play like that because they played incredible the last 2 minutes, even though they lost that Kentucky game.
I feel like
they need to do that and do that the entire game because they could beat any team in the country if they did that, including Purdue, including Houston.
See, and I think there's the stark difference between like a Josh Heupel and a Rick Barnes. I think Josh already knows how to push the buttons for his players. He knows how to say the right things to get them to run through a brick wall for them. I'm not sure Rick Barnes does. I'm not.
So I got crucified earlier, about a week ago, for saying, that Rick Barnes always, drops the ball in the big games. He does. That's his track record. Coach Rice is talking about Texas. That's why he no longer coaches at Texas, because he couldn't win the big game. He has a track record. History speaks for itself. Do I think Rick Barnes is a great man? Yes. Do I think Tennessee basketball, maybe we shift the goalpost of what the expectation is at Tennessee? Like, do you remember pre-Bruce Pearl what the Tennessee basketball program was? It was hot trash. It was hot trash. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about basketball before Bruce Pearl, and then Rick Barnes has come in, and it's kind of like, all right, another SEC regular season championship, but nobody cares because they always lay an egg when the big games come along, and that's history. That's history. But like, look, I talk about casuals. I'm not even a casual basketball fan. I'm a go check the score the next day fan. Like, I don't care about basketball. I just don't. But when you look at what Rick Barnes has done, what do you want from a basketball coach at Tennessee? Do you want a national championship? Do you need a Final Four run? Or are you happy with regular season championships and being nationally relevant? Because they're nationally relevant right now.
Yeah. And one thing I will say, go ahead, Jenny.
No, I was going to say, I went to school at a time where I think Bruce Pearl was like the very last year that I was a student. The women's team got more people in Thompson Bowling Arena than the men. I went to a few games because it was free for students, but the best thing ever in basketball when I was there was we beat Florida. They were like number 1 in the country, and we rushed the court. We never got to rush the field because we always expected to win in football. We rushed the court because we beat number 1 Florida.
That tells
And
you the standard. That tells you the standard of Vols basketball versus ball. I'm kind of sick to my stomach. We're 25 minutes in talking about basketball. Kind of don't really like that.
One last thing.
Wrap it, Coach Rice. Wrap it.
And then we'll tie a bow on it. I got you, Coach Jay, because I know you're ready for spring practice talk.
Me and Coach Jay just up here looking at each other.
Yeah. No, I got you.
All the shooty hoops talk.
Well, real quick, and the last thing I'll say, one thing that you see with Tennessee teams, and it's been this year, they don't, they get this rep that they like being physical and tough. Well, the teams that we've struggled with this year has came in, punched them in the mouth, and they get awestruck, I guess. I mean, like Mississippi State, that Texas A&M game, the South Carolina game. They're the early season games I forgive because that was 3 really good teams, all in Hawaii, and so that's different. But the teams we lost during SEC play, there's a standard there that, or a pattern that Tennessee struggles against these slow pace, physical, punch you in the mouth teams, and does our matchups in the tournament favor that? Majority of the teams that are unfortunately in our side of the bracket are slower paced teams. So that's one thing I will say that does not go in Tennessee's favor. That you want to see Tennessee make a run because of Dalton Connect. He's a superstar. He's y'all seen it on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, he's my favorite player, Tennessee player of all time, and that's in a short spell just because. I love the way he plays. I think he's given his all for Tennessee in the short amount of time. Don't get me wrong. I love my Chris Loftons and Juwan Smiths and Tyler Smiths, but we'll have to really show up in this March Madness. So that's tying the bow on the basketball. Let's put some back pads and helmets on. Let's go knock some guts in.
All I saw on your Twitter was profanity.
You dang right.
I didn't see
anything. Right.
I didn't see anything about Dalton Connect.
They
I just saw
act like
profanity.
a bunch of soft.
We can't tie a bow on it. We got one last question we got to answer. T. Malone drops a $5 super chat. Says, for Coach Rice or whoever, if Bruce Pearl stayed at Tennessee and didn't leave, do you think he would have won a natty by now or now? I'll take this question. I disagree with Coach Rice because when they introduced Bruce Pearl, I was like, I'm about to watch some basketball. I loved Bruce Pearl. He could recruit. He could coach. I love him. I think he would have won a natty. I do.
You think he would have?
I do think he would have. I do.
Don't get me wrong. I love Bruce Pearl. I love Bruce Pearl, but he just had to go and have a barbecue.
Yeah,
and
he lied about it. He lied about it was the problem. Yeah. The barbecue wouldn't have been the death sentence. The fact that he lied about it, but everything comes full circle. He's coaching at Auburn. Does it really matter? He's still in the SEC. It's so stupid. Joe Brown for 2 says, I'm back. Card got hacked a month ago. Renewed again. Shout out, Joe. Appreciate you joining the channel again, my friend. Chris Brown for 5. Coach Rice. Coach Jay, what are your thoughts on – I wonder if he meant the floor for Chris Brazel. Is it Brazel, Brazel? Because nobody knows. Gold jacket, green jacket. I think it is Brazel, but I can't bring myself to say that. We're going to talk about the wide receivers. I'll let you guys go because he did drop a super chat. Coach Jay, Coach Jay, you take this one. Give me your thoughts on Chris Brazel this year.
I like him. I think he's going to be a good player. But with that said, I think the floor is low. I mean, like Thornton's going to be your other wide, right? Bruce, your other guy. Mm-hmm. So and maybe one of the other coaches comment on this, or maybe just anyone, but he runs beautiful routes. He's got Spider-Man hands. He catches anything in the building. His speed is a little bit of a concern in the SEC. So if his route running, if his, footwork combination into his patterns, his crossover, hezzy, whatever foot motion you want to work, if he's not able to wiggle his way open and push through on those seam routes, then he's not going to see the field in a Heupel offense. So for that reason, I'd say the floor is low, but I think the ceiling is extremely high as well. So
let me spin it. Let me spin it to Coach Rice as you talk about it. You compared him to Dante Thornton. Is there a difference, Coach Rice? Do you think Dante Thornton, Oregon, but unproven? Like unproven coming from Oregon. Like when I got excited, I was looking at the measurables, the speed, the size, the length. Whereas Chris Brazel, Gold jacket, green jacket, proven. but at the lower level, right? It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Well, I think I would say I think Brazil or Brazil.
See, I got you screwed up now.
Has maybe a chip on his shoulder. I mean, I would love to see him. Dante Thornton. Yeah, Oregon's not SEC, but Oregon's still a big time program, and you see him leave that program. Well, Brazil's coming from Tulane. Yes, a very good established program that has had a couple of good established good years these last couple of years. But he came here to take that step up, where I think Dante Thornton was maybe kind of left out the door.
Playing time.
I think Brazil came here, hey, get me ready for the NFL. Let's go win a ship and make me some money while I'm at it. So I think, I agree with Coach Jay where his speed may be a little question. But hey, the best route runner can make someone look slow day in and day out. So, and we've seen on film he has smooth feet and route running ability. So, can that translate? Is he physical enough to get off these SEC corners? Can he run across the middle and not be scared of taking a hit from an SEC safety? So let's wait and see. I think he has the ability. We all know Brew and Squirrel are going to be the main two to start out the gate. But, he could be your the Brent Smith, that third option that is really good but not talked about as much. And we got to remember, he's just what's he, a sophomore or a junior? Well, he'll be a junior this
Squirrel
year.
will be a junior.
No, Brazil.
He's a sophomore.
Is he a sophomore?
He's a sophomore.
I thought he was a sophomore.
Yeah, he's a redshirt sophomore. Redshirt sophomore.
Okay.
He really his high school film. He jumps off the tape, man. His high school. I don't know how he was rated as low as he was.
Yeah.
Coming out of Texas with a tape like that, that kid jumped off the page.
Well, it may have been. Was there a smaller school?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's why probably. But yeah, I think he's got a mid-level floor, but a very high ceiling.
Let me hit this super chat real quick. We're gonna just open this thing up with wide receivers. I was gonna talk Nico. We'll do Nico next. We'll start with wide receivers. Cody Copeland for 10 says GBO, great to have football back. Feels like the first time in forever. We go into spring with very little drama or trouble. Biggest stories are rebuilding the secondary and development of Nico and the wide receivers. Right? We're gonna hit Nico next, but we're gonna stick with wide receivers, and I'm gonna get Amber rolling here. She snuck in, she left, she came back. Y'all won't shut up about basketball. She's bored to tears. She's so bored. She's like, I should be watching freaking Josh Pate right now, but instead I'm sitting here with a bunch of clowns talking about basketball. We don't care. Let's talk about wide receivers, Amber, because like Coach Rice just said, it's Brew McCoy, it's Squirrel White, and it's who else? And so many people last year. Is it Joe? Is it the wide receivers? Everybody's blaming different people. Some people say the wide receivers weren't as good as they should have been. So when you look at it, okay, well, you're bringing back two of the same wide receivers, and now you're looking for a third guy. Ramel Keaton gone. What do you think about this wide receiver core? And you can also kind of piggyback this in there too. Deuce saying, what about Matthews? Does he push Squirrel? So you can throw Mike Matthews in there as well. But what are your thoughts on the wide receivers?
Six-man rotation.
So I think that we have depth now in the room, which is really good. We didn't really have that this past season. So I would love to see Mike Matthews, but I don't think Heupel plays true freshmen for wide receivers. I may be wrong, but
Squirrel was a true freshman. He had a lot of playing time. His freshman year.
Well, a lot of that was in, but. And, he came in, he replaced Jalen Hyatt from that slot position. So, and you go back to 2022, we're blowing teams out. That's why Squirrel got a lot of run in that slot position that year.
Jason, piggybacking on Coach Rice saying 6 wide receiver rotation. Y'all full of crap. Does anybody, Eric, do you think there's a 6 wide? No, No, they've been saying it since year one, and they don't do it. They've never done it. It's a 3-man rotation. That's it. It's because they go quick. What do you think, Eric? You think they're going to play more than 3 wide receivers? I just don't see it.
Maybe 4. No, with Brazil, I think you're going to see him against like a Vandy or Kentucky with an average secondary. If he doesn't have separation speed or a lot of speed, but he's a really crisp route runner, I think he's going to get some runs. But I think it's going to be against opponents that were clearly a level above as far as our offense versus their defense.
And I don't count that. It's going to be Brew. It's going to be Squirrel.
Mm-hmm.
Do they maybe somebody who said 4? Tom, did you just say 4? Maybe they rotate that opposite guy, right? Maybe it's it's
2 hockey lines. That's what I want. I want 2 hockey lines with the starting 3, whoever it's going to be, and then I mean, like Amber just said, we got depth. We haven't had depth at wide receiver that can actually be considered depth in a long time. So 2 hockey lines, you got a first line, second line. They really could do some serious damage. Like if Brew McCoy, Squirrel White, you do your little screen thing that they were doing last year here and there, but then you send in a whole new package of receivers, you got a whole new play set.
And to Tom's point and what Coach Jay was saying all last season, Heupel said it when he was with JD on that exclusive interview last week. You run with the personnel you have and you cater your offense to your personnel. So to Tom's point, maybe we do have a much more loaded wide receiver room than we've had since he got here. So maybe he's just been waiting and running with Milton and saying, I can't wait for next year. I can't wait till we're loaded at the wide receiver. And the room is full now. So maybe he does finally open it up. We've been begging for it because now we are loaded.
Well, I think you go back to UCF when Heupel was at UCF. His last year, they had 6 deep. You had 6 guys that had high number of completions. Where these first couple years, mainly because of what the situation Tennessee was in, the numbers just weren't there. The star power wasn't there. I'm telling you, you don't give Mike Matthews and these younger guys, Braylon Staley, Chaz Nimrod, and Caleb Webb. Which, I still think after spring, Caleb Webb or Chaz Nimrod, one of them 2 will be gone.
And maybe Nathan Laycock, too.
I was going to mention him.
I think 2 of the 3. I think 2 of the 3 are gone.
Yeah.
2 of the 3 are gone.
So what if what happens there, you kind of see where you are with your depth in wide receiver rotation. But me personally, I'm getting, if Mike Matthews does the least bit of anything to show out this spring, that boy is getting at least, a series or 2 per half.
Who did Coach Rice just offend? Like, what did he say? Who did he offend? Somebody just up and left. Said, I'm sick and tired of hearing Coach Rice talk about the wide receivers. I'm out. I'm done. Who did you offend, Coach Rice? I don't even know who left.
Oh, it was probably someone.
Oh, it was shoot, I can't remember.
Was it Papa Smurf?
Papa Smurf.
Oh, the guy that had Coach in his name. I didn't.
No, Coach
McGee's here.
All right.
Cleo's still here.
I'm drowning myself here.
He was in his pickup truck, right?
Oh, Cody.
There you go.
All
right. I think our wide receiver room is. I think this is what he wanted. It's definitely a lot more. It's a lot deeper than it was the last 2 seasons. I think that that's what Josh Heupel wants to get to the 6, but we haven't had the personnel for that.
I think it's about trust, though, right? It's about trust because they go fast. So if you're going to get an opportunity, I got to trust you for a full series. Coach McGee, what do you think? What do you think about these wide receivers? What do you think about the rotation?
I honestly think we could end up, realistically speaking, we could end up with a 4-receiver rotation. Definitely, we're going to have Brew and Squirrel back. They're going to make an impact. I think Brew has a chip on his shoulder from getting hurt last year. So he's going to have something to prove, definitely trying to improve his draft stock as well. Squirrel is Squirrel. I mean, he's a great receiver. There's really nothing that I'm worried about. Chris Brazil, I can see him doing pretty good. I just want to see how his spring practice goes. I mean, I've watched some of his tape. Saw him at Tulane a little bit on some highlight clips, but haven't really seen him in our offense. Matthews is probably going to transfer out.
Don't say that, bro.
Wait.
Don't say that,
Wait.
bro.
Whoa. Mac Matthews or Laycock?
Or sorry, I had my notes wrong. Sorry, Leacock.
Oh, yeah, you're about to get. You're about to get.
Yeah.
Not Matthews.
About to drop
Sorry,
Peter's
sorry,
elbow.
sorry.
I'm about to freaking put
Sorry,
the one
sorry,
up
sorry,
and bring
sorry.
Roman in over here. Roman Reigns going to take you out.
I'm trying to
Finish the
read my
story.
chicken scratch notes here. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're all right.
Yes.
You're all
So I
right.
think Laycock's going to transfer out. Probably Webb. I'd like to see Nimrod stay. He did pretty good toward the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I'm really excited to see what Matthews has to offer this spring practice.
But don't you guys think, though, college football 2024, I'll make Amber talk again. College football in 2024, people transferring out, that's college football. That's good. That's good for Tennessee. If you bring in a guy like Mike Matthews and it forces Nathan Laycock or somebody else to leave, good riddance because we got the better talent, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if he leaves, I mean, don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's kind of how I feel. If you're not committed to this team or putting in the work or staying by for your shot, then we don't need you.
Thank you for saying that, because for real, I could keep going back to Jalen Hyatt over and over again for months and months when we do these call-in shows. I don't know if I've gone a couple of them without saying it. He didn't buy in. He kept saying, I didn't buy in and I wasn't putting the work in. You put the work in, man. Put the work in.
I mean, we have the same problem with our high school team. We have 6 or 7 high schools within a 20 square mile radius. So these kids, they feel like they're not getting an opportunity from us on the team. They want to go and go to enroll in a different school for the next semester or the next year. So, it's kind of frustrating. We see that even at the high school level, but you know what? Good riddance. I don't need them. Especially my linemen. They can go and kick
What
rocks.
he's saying is I can fly out there and illegally recruit some of his players.
Wait, whoa.
Don't you be doing none of that.
Hold on a second. Have we ever done a live stream where you were doing that, allegedly? Or no,
I don't know.
No, it's just inside jokes. Just jokes. We're just telling jokes.
Coach Jay, you stay away from my defensive lineman here.
All right.
Did you mean Hyatt or did you mean Jalen or Hurd?
Hyatt.
When Hyatt did that interview about halfway after, what was it? About halfway through.
It was the year after Velus Jones left. It was the year after Velus Jones left. He said he went to Velus and said, "How do I get to your level?"
Yep,
that's what it was.
And he started putting the work and then killed it. Yeah.
What was so crazy about that? Because as a freshman, you saw some glimmers of hope with Jalen Hyatt, right? He torched Alabama, and it's like, okay, this is a true freshman torching Alabama, and then he did nothing. But then that next year is when he blew up, won the Blitnikoff, and he bought in, right? He bought in.
And then you saw Jalen Wright do that same thing this year. He talked to Jalen Hyatt. He said, that's going to be me next year. And so my question is, who's going to take that step this year? Is it Dylan Sampson? Is it Brew McCoy? Is it Squirrel White? Who is it? Someone on the defensive side?
I'd bet on Brew.
Yeah, my money's on Brew. My money's on
Surety
Brew.
is there.
He's
Is it
got
on
a
the
chip on his
defensive
shoulder.
side? Pierce. It's Pierce on the defense.
Pierce is going to be the number one pick.
Yeah.
Y'all, I saw
y'all burying the lead. It's topic number 3. We're going from topic 2 to topic 3. Then we'll come back to topic 1. Yeah,
Don't you slow Boogie. No, I'm playing Boogie.
Y'all drive the show.
I think definitely, with Brew, he's going to be a next level type receiver this year. I mean, you just look at his performance during the South Carolina game before he got hurt. And I mean, if he would have not got hurt, what are we looking at as far as the rest of Tennessee season last year? So now we have that to look forward to for the 2024 season.
He's my captain.
So it's exciting.
I feel like he's underappreciated, especially during the Alabama game in 2022. That catch that he did before, getting to, the field goal range was incredible.
I think
nobody
this
talks
year he
about
gets
it.
his due. I really do. I think they appreciate him, and I think they're going to realize how special he is to lead the offense and the whole team. I think he's the most mature guy, one of the most mature guys on the squad. I think he comes back with an attitude, and I think he comes back and sets an example for this team.
Well, that's going back into buying into a program. I mean, he has bought into what Tennessee stands for. He could have left. He could have said, I got hurt. I'm going to go on. Y'all kick rocks. But no, he came back, and, he's 100% bought in. And I think that's dramatically important.
Yeah, and, great thing about Brew, he's one of those kids that like he went through it, right, from the high school into college, right? He had that that overexerted dad that was all over the field, wanted to control his career, and put him in a difficult position, and life became hard for him, and Brew had to really look inward and make a decision that was a good decision, and choose a program that would fit him right, not just what everyone else wanted for him. And I think a lot of times when you're a young adult, it's really easy to want to impress mom, or want to make dad happy, or want to make that uncle or that grandparent that was really happy. But it's really a time, I think, if you're smart, these young kids will look inward and make the decision that's best for them. And I think Brew grew up really quick when he finally did that. And I think we've reaped all the benefits ever since, man, because he's been amazing, and I'm really looking forward to what he can do in his last year, as I know a lot of you guys are too.
I got two dogs that's going to be like the captain of the team, like not letting crap happen without going through them. Dylan Sampson being one of them, because as a sophomore last year, they were saying he even though yes he does a couple things on social media, they still said he was part of the leadership council as a sophomore, and him being the go-to dog this year at the running back, and then Brew coming back, and you got Javonte Spraggins coming back. Those are three guys.
The whole O-line, right? Almost.
Cooper too. John Campbell may beat up somebody. Like if you're not holding up the standard of Tennessee, you got some guys that will chew your ass out if you don't, do what you're supposed to do, give 110%.
And that starts at the top, right? That starts with the coaching staff. It starts with Heupel. But when you come in day one, you can't walk into a new team and everybody buy in, and now you've got that player leadership. But now you're going into year 4. I think you've developed that, and now I agree with you. I think you're going to see some senior leadership, some junior leadership. Dylan Sampson. I think James Pierce is a guy that's going to lead by example. Maybe not necessarily vocally, but then you've got Keenan Peely, a dude that's 47 years old. That's going to be a leader on defense. I mean, I think this team is going to be player led, and I think that's a huge difference between being led by your coaches and being led by your players. We're 45 minutes into this thing. Told Mrs. Boogie, we'll go an hour and a half. She's like, I'll see you in 3 hours. I don't know how long we're going to go, but we've got around 100. We're up to 145. Let me issue a challenge. I didn't know how many people we were going to have in here. Early spring, like I said, I'm committed to doing these every Sunday, every Wednesday. I don't care. I don't care if 42 people tune in. I want to talk spring practice. I want to cover everything full steam ahead. Let me challenge you guys. If we double the viewers, if we get to 300 viewers, I'll give away some of these. I'll give away a sleeve of these custom Talkin VAWLS golf balls. I only have 12 of them. I've only got 12 of these. I ordered a dozen. You can't buy these. No, nobody has these. My golf.
Put it up closer.
It won't pick it up. There you go.
Hang it.
I probably need to turn it off. That ain't gonna work either. My golf group, the foursome that I play with, they're like, oh yeah, we're getting some of those. Nobody else is. Maybe I'll give away a sleeve. We get to 300 live viewers on YouTube. I'll give away a sleeve of these custom Talkin VAWLS golf balls. That's a challenge to you guys. Make it happen. If not, that's fine. Smash the thumbs up. Share it out. All that good YouTube stuff. We would appreciate it. Tune in Wednesday night. Coach Rice wants golf balls. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Me, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, and Dauber. Dauber's committed. He said, I'll be there every Wednesday for the spring. We're going to break down spring practice. Practice starts tomorrow. I'm excited about it. Let's switch over. Let's talk about quarterback. We talked about wide receivers. That was the big debate last year. Why did the offense drop off? Boogie, why can we not score points? Is it Joe Milton's fault? Is it the wide receivers' fault? Why did we go from 46 points per game first in the country to 31 points per game and 37th in the country? If you missed my video this morning, go back and give it a watch, and there's more layers to it. I may double down tomorrow and talk about Nico, but I shared this video from J.D. Pickell, and I'm going to share it again now because I want you guys to see it if you missed the video this morning. J.D. Pickell talking about what quarterback would you build your college football team around? Let's listen to JD. Shout out JD.
Now, if I'm just picking a quarterback based off of where they are right now and I get their entire career for my football program, I'm looking no further than Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm going with Nico Iamaleava. Nothing physically within his game is going to limit him. 6'6", 210 pounds. You saw in the bowl game he can take off and hurt you with his legs. He can push the ball downfield. I don't believe there is a higher ceiling for anyone in college football at the quarterback position.
No one.
Than Nico Iamaleava.
No higher ceiling
Top
than
player
Nico?
in the 2023 class. You know what you're going to get with him physically, plugging him into that system. If I get his whole career now, which is, of course, the context we're operating under for this discussion.
2 years.
I mean, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. So if I get someone's whole career that I get to build around, I'm going with Nico. Now, if I want to.
Coach J's head just got big.
I was going to say, Coach J, go ahead and comment on that. Did you hear the question, though? He wasn't talking about first-time starters. He wasn't talking about underclassmen. Every quarterback in college football, every single quarterback in college football, nobody has a higher ceiling than Nico Iamaleava. Go ahead, Mr. Coach J.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously agree with him, right? I'd like to point out, though, man, when you look at any clip, like any still picture from that Iowa Bowl game, Nico's just got like this infectious smile on a football field underneath his helmet at all times. I have literally seen that kid run over a linebacker and get up and just smile at his whole team like, hey, like, you know, not even trash talking, you know, just like, hey, you see that? I just buried that guy, huh? You know, the team's going to want to play hard for him. We were talking about leaders a little bit ago, and, you know, you get them in all kinds of ways, right? You can get a quiet leader like James Pierce, you know, you can get a vocal leader and all different kinds of leaders. But, you know, your team takes on the personality of your quarterback and your coach a lot of times. And I think this team's really going to have fun out there this year and enjoy balling out. And this offense that Heupel runs is really fun when it's clicking, right? And we want to talk about what was missing last year. I mean, Volquest was talking about it today, I believe. 62% of the time in the red zone, you know, we scored touchdowns, right? It was 83% of the time last year in the red zone. So we dipped a whole 20% on scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Well, when you're in the red zone, we've talked about it here during film breakdowns, you get an extra defender, right? You get the back of that end zone as an extra defender. You don't, you know, as a defensive coordinator, you don't got to worry about that lid being taken off. And there's just several things that go into that, right? Milton could run right on a straight line, but didn't have that creativity, that smoothness to just ditch out of a pocket and kind of have that Brett Favre, that Johnny football, you know, backyard mentality. Nico can do that too in the red zone, and he also can make his reads extremely quickly. We saw it in the bowl game, right? He had 4 rushing touchdowns. He had those because they were playing coverage, right? He took what they gave him. If they would have taken away the run, if they would have spied it, he would have thrown it over the back of them. It's about to be a fun time with Nico. I'll let you guys talk about how you feel about him, but I think we all know where Coach Jay has put his 12 dozen eggs all into his Easter basket here. So
I love that you were talking about speed with Milton. Did you see this clip from Ball Football? Watch Nico running this drill. Watch how quick. Like when you watch that, it's like that's not a quarterback. That's got to be a skill position player, right? That's got to be like a wide receiver, a running back, like a DB. Look how quick he is, man. The quickness and the advantage. The advantage that gives you in the red zone. And people want to complain and talk about, his completion percentage and this and that. They want to talk about how many times he was sacked behind the second string offensive line. Like, boys, we're about to see 2022 and 2024. That's what we're about to see. The offense is back. We're going to see what this offense is supposed to be.
And can I make a point? People talk about, don't put so much stock on bowl games, right? And they like to compare it to last year with Milton. But the situation is completely different between the two, right? Like Milton had something to prove. We knew kind of his issues, and he kind of needed that to show us that he has improved. But Nico had none of that. this was his first real start,
Mhm.
and I mean, he looked like he was not a freshman at all. So I have all the faith in the world. I'm with Coach Jay. Like, I don't doubt him for a second.
Does anybody on this panel doubt him? Does anybody? Like? There's 8 people here. Does anybody doubt him? Because every time I make a video talking about Nico, I get 12 comments saying, "Well, he's never played."
Those are casuals. Those are
Casuals. Maybe that's a new Talkin VAWLS T-shirt. A Talkin VAWLS casual.
Bookie, to go back to your question about whose fault was it, the quarterback or was it the wide receiver? I think it was a little bit of both because we didn't have that depth, especially after Brew went down. And then Ramel didn't really pop like he did in 2022. So he was kind of disappointing. And so all we really had was Squirrel after Brew went down, to be honest. I mean, Nimrod was better, and Thornton showed some life at the end, and then he got hurt. So, I mean,
that was such a bummer.
Always getting overthrown.
Yeah.
Oops, did I say that out loud?
We had a really nice guy. We had a really nice guy playing quarterback, but he just wasn't. He just couldn't cut the cheese, man. He couldn't.
He wasn't that dude.
No, he wasn't the dude. He's a great guy. He's a hard worker, Joe Milton.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Glad to see what he did for the university. I'm sure he's going to be back on campus just being a great guy for recruits, being a great guy for the university moving forward. But he just
I think he was a good quarterback and was a good leader. He just wasn't the quarterback for this offense. I think if he was with a completely different offense, I think he would have been a little bit better. He just couldn't grasp his offense because he couldn't go as quick as like a Hendon or a Nico.
And I just don't think he processed like as quick as, Hendon or Nico can, because, he was always looking. Sorry,
looking to the sideline.
Yeah. And then if you notice Nico, it was humming. He wasn't even looking. He knew what to do. He was ready. It's a big difference.
He needed to be Ricky Bobby at the end of the movie, not halfway through when he's learning,
running around his underwear.
Like that
he's on fire.
Yeah.
We're happy with Joe if it's not for Hendon Hooker. Like, we're happy with last year.
That's a good point.
We're happy
with
him.
We'll never know, will we, Eric?
I think we do know. I think if Joe starts year 2 and Tennessee goes out and wins 9 games, we're like, all right, we're making progress. But you're following a dude that's going to go down in Tennessee history, a guy that ended the streak against Alabama, a guy that should have been in New York representing his program. Like, I don't say that he deserved the Heisman, but he deserved to be there. He was one of the best players in college football for 2022. MVP, what's that football team in 2022 without Hendon Hooker, right? They're probably a 9-win team, right? And we're saying, we took a step. It's the way it played out. And then Joe gets sandwiched between Hendon Hooker and Nico. And Nico's him. It's Coach Jay's fault. It's Coach Jay's fault. But I've also done my homework, man. I've done my homework.
Go ahead, So I got a question for you, Boogie. We were talking the other day in comments about how Merklinger is sandwiched between Nico and George Mack. Do you think that Merklinger is the same guy that Joe is sandwiched between Hendon and Nico? Like, that's kind of another difference right there.
He's going to transfer.
I think he's going to compete with George.
Yeah.
I love George. I think George is great. I think George is possibly the future. But I love Jake Merklinger saying, like that's the number one question was like, you're coming here behind Nico. Are you ready? Like, you're going to be on the bench, right? He's like, I don't care. I'm going to compete. I'm a dog. I'm a fight. Like, that's a dog, man. That's a dude. Yeah. And no disrespect to Joe. Like, Joe chose Tennessee twice. That was the narrative we talked about all year. Where else was Joe going to go, right? You got to transfer down. You're not going to go to Florida or Alabama or Georgia. You got to transfer down. So it's like, why not ride it out? Jake can go anywhere in the country. But Jake's like, no, I'm going to come compete. And I get a lot of times people say, you don't talk enough about Jake. It's like, man, I'm sorry. Like that's what happens. Like Taven Jackson, right? When he had committed, he was here. He was the freshman. You don't talk about the freshman on the bench. You talk about the sexy high school kid that's coming in. That's the way YouTube works. That's why I'm talking about George right now. But Jake, man, I love his competitive edge, and that's what's going to happen is Nico's going to go pro after 2025, and Jake and George are going to compete, and the loser's going to transfer out. And guess what? We as Tennessee fans win because we trust Josh Heupel, knows a little something about quarterback, and he's going to go with the best option. But then guess what? You go 2026 and you go get another dude, and then you let them come and compete. That's the way recruiting works now, right? Yep. Iron sharpens iron. Let the weak ones leave, and then you roll with the ones that are better players. That's it. I love Jake. I love George. And I would wish whoever leaves the best of success, just like I did Taven Jackson. I understand if you play quarterback and you're that middleman and you want to transfer out. I got no problem with that. None.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what the culture at Tennessee is all about. That's all what Josh Heupel's built. If you want to come in and compete and show you're the best guy for the spot, that's what that culture is all about. If you're going to stick around and, hey, when it's my time, I'm going to come in and take over. Nico knew when he came in probably that he's going to come in and compete and get better, but Joe's going to have his time to shine. And then that's my redshirt freshman or sophomore year. It's going to be like, the next man up. And that's what it's going to be when Nico leaves after a year or two, when he's going to be a number one draft pick or top draft pick in the NFL after his Heisman National Championship campaign, because it's going to happen. Then, it's written in the future books already.
It is.
I've only seen it. Y'all have it. I promise you, it's coming. So, but G-Mac, G-Mac,
when it's going to start after the OU game.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's going to start after the OU game. He's going
to 300 yards passing, 100 yards rush, and 5 total touchdowns.
Good Lord have mercy. Post-game show going to be a blast. Can't wait.
Yeah. Coach Jay, do you see? You
heard it here first.
Already chalking us up as a win for them. I was like, y'all don't think Josh Heupel has something in store for you guys? Oh, he's coming back home. Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay.
He's keeping something in the book just for that game.
But why is everybody worried?
Yeah, we literally only saw like 45% of the playbook last year, if that. So all these people talking like, oh, the Tennessee offense is so vanilla. It's Nico time. So.
Well, and that's because what we talked about all year last year, the restrictions of what Joe gave us. And I'm done talking about Joe because I thought Joe was the perfect, ideal Tennessee volunteer.
Me too.
He was the perfect, ideal Tennessee volunteer. Huh? What?
Throwing darts.
We're throwing darts at the dartboard. We love you, Joe.
Coach Jay, do you see a scenario maybe where Nico stays a third year? If we're building and we don't quite hit a natty in 25, maybe he comes back for 26. You say no way? Boogie's saying no way.
No.
I think he'd have to struggle more in this first year than we'd like him to for that to happen.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. Hey, I think he's a redshirt freshman. He's been here for 3 years. He's going to have moments, right? Like every quarterback, even tenured out quarterbacks that are really good have moments. I mean, he's not going to just come and spit gold 1,000% of the time, but I expect him to only be here 2 years. Now, what will happen with George when you've got a redshirt Merklinger a sophomore Merklinger and a George that's coming in? That'll be interesting to see at that point. That'll be a really super interesting dynamic. I think one thing interesting with Nico, and maybe we can segue into this next, will Nico have the best offensive line that we've had since Heupel's gotten here? Everyone, right? Go ahead, Buggy.
My only counter is
point of order.
Starting line, yes. Depth scares the hell out of me.
Me too.
Yes,
that's my only counter. Go ahead, Amber.
What if Coop gets hurt again, right?
Yep.
Center.
Please don't.
Don't
Who do
speak
we-
into existence.
You have to have these conversations if you're going to say it's the best offensive line.
But seriously, who's the backup? What's the plan here? Like
Ollie
who's gonna take
Lane.
his place?
The
Oh,
most
God, no.
important thing,
Bison Lane.
the most important thing of this spring has got to be building depth on that offensive line.
Yes.
Right? That's got to be number one is finding your next center. Number two, working out the depth.
We do need to
I think
get
it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that other guard position. Do we see Sham slide to that other guard? I think it's entirely possible, but we're about to find out.
That's a good
go ahead.
point. That's a good point. Even like it kind of pisses me off, but Killer Sack Solo also brings up a good point. And you look at the offensive line recruiting for the class of 24, pretty dang good, right? You had 3 guys inside the top 300. Those are some studs. And then Gage Ginther is a guy that everybody is saying is underrated. And now you look at the class of 25, David Sanders, very realistic possibility. Like, you got some dudes on the offensive line. The way VolQuest talks, Jalen Matthews basically trending to Tennessee. Josh Petty, I think Josh Petty's a 247 Sports 5-star. Grew up a Tennessee fan. Like, you got a lot of dudes. Now that's 2 classes back-to-back that are offensive line heavy. That benefits George more. I think Nico has more talent, but I do worry about the depth. I cut you off, Coach Jay. Go ahead.
No, I was just finishing out with the depth comment on, Sham sliding in. Will one of these other young tackles, be able to step up? You never know. Maybe Johnson, maybe Grant. We've got a couple big kids that are young kids. We'll see if they ever get their feet under them. I think we'll end up okay in the guard position, and it's going to be a little while before Bennett Warren and some of these other kids get in there. But if it's me, I don't know. Maybe Tom and Coach Rice, some of the other offensive minds can speak on it a little more. I mean, if it's me, I'm going to try to, give Sham a little work inside as well as outside, because you've got some true tackle bodies coming in this year. And I would be wanting to solve that position. Sham's a big kid. He moves well in space for a tackle. It's why we picked him up, is because he could pull, and we demand our tackles to pull. So we know he's mobile enough to play guard. I'm interested to see how it shakes out.
Well, and one thing I would like to add to what Killer Sack Solo said, and he's right, the roster does need to improve. And do I see a natty in 24? I'm not going that far yet.
Real quick, Coach Rice, do you think the roster's improved since 22?
Defensively, yes.
Defensively, yes. 20, you could not, you just can't, say the offense is improved from what we had in 22. Depth-wise, yes. But the overall top-tier talent right now, no. But that was all, guys, men that came up through the program. They're in their seniors, junior years, that were ready to put on the show. It was the perfect mix of Josh Heupel and them and their skill sets. Darnell Wright, you just can't. Yeah. That comes along only so many years. Jalen Hyatt, his skill set, yes, it's more replicable at the wide receiver position, but I think that's why the transfer portal is so key, because 25, yes, our talent is there. I think we can make a playoff run in 24, but I think the year we win the Natty is 25, and that's because all these young guys that we've loved these last 2 years, Nico's going to be a year older. These freshmen that are coming in now are going to be a year older. And the transfer portal, y'all, is just so key. I know the offensive line will be a major question, but, hey, that's what the transfer portal's for. That's what David Sanders, that's what, all these recruits that, you look at these high-profile, 5-star, top-end recruits. Yes, you've seen it with Francis Malgoa. He went in and started first snap against Miami. These guys, these offensive linemen now are getting to where if they're high-star and they're high-developed and they feel like they're game ready, they can come in and play immediately.
Yeah, to Amber's point, Oh, I was going to say to
Go ahead.
Amber's point.
Go ahead.
Okay, to Amber's point about the center, what do we do? Because this is Coop's final year. He has no,
It'll
even
be
if he
Dane
doesn't.
Davis. It'll be Dane Davis or Bryson Lane.
I think
Yeah,
Bryson
one of those
Lane.
two.
I think they're
Bryson
talking
Lane
Davis.
Lane would probably be.
Yeah, they're talking about Dane Davis even competing for that guard position. Like Dane Davis, Jackson Lampley,
Well, he's your ultimate
Shamrod
Swiss
Umarov,
knife.
all three of those guys.
He's your ultimate Swiss Army knife. I mean, he's that guy that can play tackle, can play guard. We saw him a couple series at center last year. Is it someone? Would I rather see Bryson Lang as that backup center? Yes, because that's your next year guy. But Dane Davis is a 6-year senior. Would you trust him in that situation, getting thrown into a fourth quarter, or would you trust Bryson Lang against Bama getting thrown in the fourth quarter? A major series going down the field. Who do you trust more, Bryson Lang or a 6-year senior Dane Davis?
I think that's part of 2024 too. I think some of these guys, Bryson Lang, Masai Reddick, Shamrod Umarov, some of those like sophomores, redshirt sophomore, it's time to come on. Like when we talk about Glenn Ellerby and whether or not he's successful or not, it's time to come along, because if not, is the class of 24, is that offensive line going to be any good, or is he going to fail to develop them too? I know he claims Darnell Wright. Some people want to argue that and say he didn't develop Darnell Wright. Did he? Or did he not? Because Darnell Wright praises Glenn Ellerby for his development that last year. So
I'll tell you what. Then if he says that he developed him, then hell, go with that. Plus, if he was like there that he improved, then you got no other option.
I think Gus Hill is going to be a sleeper. If he can put on some weight, get over 300, maybe like 315, 320, he's going to be a problem, especially on the interior. I think he's going to be a pretty good guard. We can put him either left or right. I think he's going to be pretty good if he can get some weight and stay healthy. And we're talking about the transfer portal. Coach Rice brought it up. In order for us to get sexy talent off the transfer portal, we have to win games, and we have to be put into high visibility positions. For example, first round college football playoffs.
Yes.
If we're just sitting around kicking rocks at the Cheez-Its Bowl, which I'm not saying that wasn't a bad thing, still got us a lot of visibility. But if we're not getting in those high profile games, then we're not going to get that attraction from the transfer portal. And that's for those 5-star recruits. It's going to be hard to build our team if we don't get ourselves in a position to win.
So is it fair to say when I come on here and I'm sitting in front of a microphone and I have nobody giving me feedback and I'm yelling, talking about 2024, how important it is on the field, to me it's huge. It's huge. And then I go on to talk 10 other minutes and people like sleep on that and they talk about the recruit or whatever else I'm talking about. 2024 is huge, Coach McGee, huge. I think if Tennessee, that's why I keep saying college football playoff or bust. I think a lot of this fan base, if Tennessee doesn't make the college football playoff, guess what? This offseason is going to be a whole lot of, Boogie, I don't think Josh Heupel's the guy. That's going to be the conversation all offseason. I dare y'all to tell me when I'm telling lies, because that's what's going to happen if they don't make the college football playoff. Nate, am I wrong? Nate, am I wrong?
I agree.
You're not wrong at all. That's all you're going to hear. You're hearing it already before the season's even started.
Especially now that it's going to be 14 teams and 25 instead of 12 teams.
It's so stupid. I'm sorry. It's just, it makes me sick.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Especially when you go back to year one and we're saying 6-7 year rebuild, and now it's like year 4, and it's like, bro, we better win a natty or I'm out. How quickly we forget that this dude has won double, like he has done more than any other coach other than Fulmer, and we forget that.
Well, that's the thing. They have our fans have that. They're back to that mentality that when we had Fulmer.
We've had a taste.
I was there the whole time I was at Tennessee. Fulmer was there. We expected to win, and then we lose to Vandy in 2005, and people lose their mind because it was the first time we had lost to Vandy since 1982. I was born in 1982, and that was the first time.
I think I cried that game with Snake in the stands. I did.
Austin Mines talking about fire Fulmer. Fulmer was the winningest active coach at the time.
I think
I don't think people remember that. He was the winningest active coach. They were like, let's fire him. Let's fire him. I was like, y'all are crazy. But
Well, I mean, look, I think the key is that if we improve over last season, as long as we don't see a win total that matches last season, I think there might be a little forgiveness if we're not in the college football playoff. But if we don't win like 9 or 10 games, yeah, it's gonna be ugly next year.
8 wins, the house is on fire. 8 wins, the house is burning
Yes.
down. 9 wins, there's
And
gonna be a
that's
lot of
regular
pissed
season.
off.
That's
A lot of
regular
pissed off. Yes, a lot of pissed off people.
Yeah.
But it sounds so much
I
sweeter. So
really
if you win
think we
9,
can
but
get
you win your bowl game and you get to a 10-win season because of a bowl win, it softens it a little.
I think we could win 10 games, 10 or more games. I really do.
My floor is 10. My floor
I
is 10 to
think
2.
That's my
our
prediction.
schedule is favorable because we're playing Florida at home, we're playing Alabama at home.
We have our
I
bye weeks at perfect moments too. They're at perfect moments before those key
Yes.
stretches of the season.
It all starts in Norman. If we're gonna roll,
Yeah.
we've got to win
That
the
is so
roadie
true.
in Norman.
Yeah.
We've got to.
We have to go in there because their fans are on my nerves. We're going to beat Tennessee. I was like, take us for granted. I want you to.
And
you guys
know
think that
this kind of a season hangs on one group, the offensive line. The entire season in a situation like this, it hangs on my boys, the big ugly guys. I mean, it just does. Because if they go into Norman and they commit 9 pre-snap penalties like they did 2 years ago in Athens, no, that's not happening. They go and then they have Florida at home late in the year again. Or no, hold on. When do we play Florida this year?
It's late in the year.
Florida
Usually
late.
early.
Right before Bama.
and it's
Second
late
week of
in
October.
October 12th.
Second week of October. Yeah.
It's a brutal stretch.
That kind of play is not going to happen. Yeah, and then they go to Arkansas after they
We
go
have
to Oklahoma.
Florida and
Look at
Bama in
that.
succession. Wow.
You go
Okay, I'm not worried about bacon bits, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I'm not either. Bacon bits is fine.
I
Florida-
You beat Oklahoma. Do you not think you're 6-0 coming out of the first half? I do.
If they
Yeah,
beat
it's
Oklahoma,
possible.
absolutely, it's happening.
so.
They're going in
Gotta
against
get past NC State first.
Oh, shut
Yeah.
up. You know what, Coach Rice? Coach Rice,
top
I'm about to throw
25
you out of here. That's the Pitt
NC
game.
State.
That's the Pitt game.
Hey, we can't sleep on them.
I'm
I'll
telling you.
tell you
They've
what,
had
though.
a good transfer portal class, and they've
They
got
did.
some
They
talent.
did.
They
And
did.
I just don't want to see us go in there and sleepwalk, overconfident, think we're just going to run through NC State. Should we, on paper, go in and handle our business and beat NC State? Yes. But
Ball's by 3 touchdowns.
yeah,
Ball's by 50.
I think Hubbard's going to have them ready. It's not going to be like that Georgia State league debacle.
I'm saying this.
NC State's way better than Georgia State.
It'd be a move. Yeah.
Way better than Georgia State. Ball's by 28.
How good did we think Iowa's defense was? They were supposed
Best
to
in
be
the country
stout,
till
right?
we beat them. Then they were terrible.
35-0. So we'll handle business against NC State.
That's because that was inflated because Iowa played in like the worst division.
A little 10? Really?
Yeah, I mean,
No, I
it
think
just
Coach
shows
Jay,
that,
you said it. That Nico's very poised, right? He doesn't seem to rattle easily, right?
He'll be calm. Yeah, he'll be
If
fine.
he's calm, the team's going
He'll
to
be
fall
fine.
in behind his lead. And if he doesn't get rattled, that's huge in big games. Huge.
That's a neutral site game too, right?
Yeah.
Kind
It
of
is.
similar
It's
to
in
the
Charlotte.
bowl game.
The
Kind of
bowl
similar
game.
to the bowl game against a top 5 defense that's terrible because Nico beat them 35-0.
Yes, I'm not saying we're
Ball's
we
by
lose
72.
to them. I'm still saying we beat them by 21. I'm just saying we don't need to go in early season and overlook them.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. with that.
Oh, I completely agree, Coach.
Just
Yeah.
a
100%.
crowd waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Ball's by 100.
And it's
I
a
see
road
2
game.
trap games
I love
on
your
our schedule
confidence,
for sure.
Bertie. I love it.
Now, my question to all of you is, how do y'all feel about Mississippi State being our homecoming game?
Trap game.
Yes, I don't like that. We
It's a
never
trap
do
game.
well with Division One schools
Yeah.
in homecoming.
I bought
Miami comes
tickets.
to mind. Auburn comes to mind.
Yeah.
They're
I
in their
actually bought
first year of a
tickets
new
to that
head
game
coach.
today. That's the one
I
I'm
still
going
think
to.
I still think our 2 biggest trap games on that schedule is NC State and Mississippi State, hands down.
Ball's by 100. Wait, NC
Which
State.
ones did you say?
Who else?
NC State and who else?
NC State and Mississippi State. Those are our two trap games.
Yeah, that Mississippi State game I could see before Georgia, especially as much as I'm hyping this Oklahoma game up. You beat Oklahoma, you go 6-0. I'm calling an Alabama win at that point, boys. I am saying Tennessee doesn't have a challenge until Georgia, so that Mississippi State game does kind of become a trap game. Amber, you got cut off 14 times.
It's a between Kentucky and Georgia. You know, Kentucky is going to be like. They're gonna.
We're Kentucky's daddy. We're not.
It's right after Kentucky, and you know that they're going to be pumped for Kentucky because of.
Don't be a Gerald.
Someone.
Don't be a Gerald.
Someone.
A certain someone.
Don't be a Gerald. Go ahead, Amber. You got cut off 15 times. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was just saying that I actually bought tickets today for the Mississippi State game.
Yeah.
So that's the one I'll be going to.
Heck yeah.
We'll see. I don't feel like it's I don't think it's a trap game. I'm not worried about that one. I don't know. I feel good.
I just don't like playing Division I, SEC for homecoming. I don't like it.
Let's play UConn, right, Jen?
Yeah.
Let's play UConn.
I was there when we played Miami and we got killed. And I was like, this is home.
I was there too.
Oh my God, I remember.
Who's
Yeah, we played next year and beat them. So in the Orange Bowl. So.
When's our late non-conference game? Who's that with? I forgot.
UTEP.
UTEP.
Minor.
That's gonna be senior night.
They said they wouldn't do that because it's senior day. I was like, I don't care if it's senior day. Put it on UTEP.
Yeah. Somebody's oven's going on.
Who's backing up? Somebody's backing up. They're back. Oh, Coach McGee. Coach McGee's like, I'm out. I got my
we can make
DoorDash.
Vandy senior day.
Just got done.
No matter where we play Vandy, it's a home game. So.
Yeah, I know they could technically do senior night that night.
That's so true. It's so true. Speaking of tickets and going to games, somebody sent, was it a DM? No, it was a comment. It was a comment on a YouTube video this morning actually about the spring game. Not going because I don't have season tickets, Boogie. I can't get a ticket. I ain't going. Are y'all going? Talkin VAWLS tailgate G10. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna drink some beer together. Don't. I absolutely encourage you. Do not bring me bourbon.
Here,
like, don't like if you were gonna bring me Bullet bourbon. Like, don't do that. If you were gonna bring me, I don't know, maybe some Jim Beam. Don't do that. I mean, I would encourage you not to do that. I don't know if it's legal or not. Like, if you're going to bring me
50,000 didgeridoos,
Buffalo Trace, like, that's disgusting. Do not bring that to me at G10 for the orange and white game. But what about the panel of 9? Coach Jay won't be here. Coach Rice, you coming? You coming up?
I'm planning on it.
Awesome.
You know my situation, so
yeah. Eric, you gonna make it in?
I would love to. I'd love to meet you guys, but that's a haul for me.
Everybody let me
Where are you
down.
coming from, Eric? Where are you coming
Orlando.
from? Okay.
That's a haul. Yeah. Stay home, bro. You and Jenny can ride together. She's basically Superman dressed as Clark Kent. Y'all can fly here. Be here in no time.
I would love to go. I just
yeah, me too.
I get so geeked, man. We do need to do a big Talkin VAWLS reunion at some point.
Coach Jay gets free flights. I said I would pay for his hotel, and he's like, I can't make it.
No, I've got another camp I'm running with some linebackers, and I got
Talking Trojans.
There, so.
He's got to be on a Talking Trojans.
Yeah. But I will be, and I should have an answer very soon. I will be at either the Florida, Bama, or Mississippi State game. I should know in about 30 days.
If it's the Mississippi State game, I got it. Like I made the commitment last year. Right, go to homecoming. Don't do a post game show. And then Jenny's talking about I don't want to play SEC. I'm like, I really got to miss a post game show for an SEC team. But hey, if Coach Jay's coming in town, maybe we make a thing of that. What about you, Amber? You coming in for the orange and white game?
Like, what do you mean coming? Like coming to it?
Yes.
No.
It's going to be me and the X Factor looking at each other like, where's the Talkin VAWLS family? Coach Rice, hopefully. We'll be like, it's us, boys. Congratulations. We're successful.
Hey, we can turn up, man.
Wait. To clarify, do you have tickets? Because it's like 10K people. Or is it just a tailgate thing?
No.
Like I said we were going to do a meet and greet. We were going to tailgate in G10. And then they dropped that bombshell, and I was like, I can't. Like last year, we were going to do the meet and greet, and everybody got sick, and I'm like, I ain't letting everybody down this year. So when they said that, they said they were going to have big screens out. I'm like, we're still tailgating. We're going to hang out. We'll watch it on the big screens. They play Tennessee baseball team plays LSU. We'll hang out. We'll drink beer, and we'll make a Talkin VAWLS hangout out of it. So whether we go in the game or not, we're going to hang out together. It's going to be fun.
Okay.
So
I mean, so I'm in Nashville, Tennessee area. So Knoxville is like a, I don't know, 2.5 hour drive for me. So it's possible. I'm not saying no. But we should do it on the Mississippi State game since it seems like
no pressure.
No pressure.
I would ask Nate, but Nate's going to say no. Coach McGee's going to say no. Tom's going to say no. Jenny's going to say.
Oh, I'm trying.
Oh, whoa!
What?
I'm planning on being there. I'm planning on.
I would love to if you can give me a flight up there. No, I'm just kidding.
That's Coach Jay's job.
I have a place to stay. If I can get the time off, I am off the weekends, so I could make it work.
There you go.
No, my pop still lives in Knoxville, so it's easy. It's a 5.5 hour drive from Roanoke, so it's not that bad. So I'll be down there in Providence. But I am getting married 2 weeks after that, so we'll have to see what the lady says.
Congrats.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Congrats for not getting married during the fall.
That's what I was.
Just about
we intentionally planned the date in the spring to be like, all right, we're not going to interrupt any football because I'll tell you what, I'll sit at the sweetheart table and watch football while we're.
She's worth keeping.
I did that at my cousin's wedding.
Let me do some shills and plugs. I don't know how many people we got watching live, 100 and something. Smash the thumbs up, share it out, all that good stuff. Video coming tomorrow morning. Tuesday night, NCAA night. We'll have some shenanigans. DJ Boogie will be in the house, all that good stuff. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. Me, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, and Dauber will be in the house. We'll be talking about the first couple of days of spring practice. That'll be a fun show. And then we're going to go live every Sunday night. It's going to be a fan call-in show. Every Wednesday, me, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, and Dauber. We're going to cover spring practice full steam ahead, but also do us a favor, hit that join button down below. Like if you don't have a power T beside your name, El Nino, like you look naked in the chat. Everybody else is green. Everybody else has a power T. You don't. Hit the join button. It's $1. Keep those memberships up to date. Also go check out the brand new merchandise, or you can get some old ones like Nate. Look at that shirt. That is gorgeous.
Sir.
Talkin VAWLS State Pride baseball tee. But we also got this new Knoxville, Tennessee shirt. I love this. It's like Waffle House. John Campbell would be proud. Yeah, John Campbell would love this. It looks exactly like Waffle House. Whatever style, design, color scheme you want, you can go check it out.
I am ordering one of those tonight.
I love it, man. I like it. I've not even ordered one yet. I've not even bought one for myself. The favorites are there. The Chosen One, Cult of 8, Talkin VAWLS letter theme shirt. All these were represented in Mr. and Mrs. Coach J date night. Or date lunch, whatever today. They're always representing Talkin VAWLS. You want to be a cult member, all of it's there. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link is also in the description below. We would appreciate the support. We need you guys during the off season when things get tough. But guess what? We're going to go full steam ahead into this spring practice. I don't care. I don't care if 12 people watch. We're going to cover spring practice. Let's flip over to defense. I had a couple of things tuned up. I said we're going an hour and a half. We got 2.5 minutes to wrap the show. Let's just talk defense as a whole. The two storylines are, number one, a lot of people talking about James Pierce Jr. You know, we've been saying for months that he would probably be the top defensive player. Now there's a lot of rumor about him being the top pick in the draft. Let's talk about how big that would be, and then we'll talk about the defense as a whole. Let's throw it to Nate. Nate, how big would it be for Tennessee to get the number 1 overall draft pick after the 2024 season?
It would be the best thing for Tennessee. It would be huge. It's almost where you couldn't put into words because, man, if we get that kind of recognition, which is deserving, it's not like it's not deserving. This man has put in the time and the effort, but it doesn't just show to the player. It shows more to the coaches and of what they're putting in the players and it's telling others, hey, you come here, we're going to put you at number 1. You come here. It's not the Tennessee of old. We're not going to try to be battling for 6th place in the SEC. We're going to be trying to win championships. So back to the championships, and that's where I'm at.
My thing is, could we have back-to-back first number 1 picks with Nico? Yeah, Coach
That'd
Jay
mean a
like
lot.
y'all
That
saw
would
the
mean a,
interest
that would mean
there.
a lot. That would mean a lot.
Dude, that would be. You talk about Nick Saban and Alabama dynasties. That's what that is. Back-to-back #1 picks.
I'm ready for a
It's not-
Tennessee dynasty. I don't know about you guys.
If Harris has the season that we all think he's going to have, I mean, I can definitely see it, especially if a team really needs an edge rusher. I mean,
Well, and I mean James Pierce, we've seen him, get better. One thing I love to see him get better at this year is run defense. Pressing the gaps and learning. Make sure he's getting his lean and trying to establish that edge on run schemes, because you saw late in the year last year teams were kind of running outside zone at him, making him work hard. And so that's one thing I'd like to see him get better at. But when it comes to pass rushing, there's not another dude in the country that's better at it than he
and
is.
he's fast.
Yeah, he's
I watched
fast.
that interception.
He's a beast.
That interception against
Yes.
Iowa, and he is quick.
He's fast,
Yeah.
tall, long, lengthy, and just very, very twitchy. And that's one thing Coach Jay will be the first one to tell you. These edge defensive linemen and big defensive linemen, that twitchy guys that can make you miss in a phone booth, and they're 200
Offensive lineman's worst nightmare.
Yes, and
guys,
that's what James Pierce is. And that, I mean, honestly, that's what Joshua Joseph is. He's just not as developed yet.
Yeah,
I was about to say that whole Leo position, if you look at it right now, is scary, guys. James Pierce, Joshua Josephs, Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross. I mean,
that's a true freshman that you don't have to count on for a while.
If you guys don't know his name yet, you're about to.
Yeah, and then
Coach, that's when you say go watch the film breakdown.
Yeah, go watch.
Go check out that breakdown. That kid is a absolute monster.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
another thing that I'm very interested defensively wise to continue our defense talk is the secondary, the rehauled secondary, and that's been the talk all off season. What's our secondary going to look like? We know we got in a couple of transfers that we going to add to the mix. We got some young talent. Me and Coach Jay and Boogie have all talked about how big we think the stock is, and Ricky Gibson. He's going to be, I feel like, one of our corners, and then Jermon McCoy, and y'all all know the guy that I want to see in the slot, and that's Boo Carter, but in the nickelback. But I do think we see a mix there. The McCreary guy from Temple, I think he has a shot to be in the mix for that star position. But hey, that secondary will be much more athletic and much more improved, I feel like.
I'm cautiously optimistic because we have no starters coming back. But you know what? They weren't that great.
I know.
Hey, at least we have a time package, Hey.
Yeah, they cleaned
I'm really
house.
excited.
Right? Yeah, they cleaned house. It should be interesting. I love both the cornerbacks. It's those safeties we need to figure out, right, guys? Jordan Thomas, Jacoby Thomas, Boo Carter, Andre Turrentine, John Slaughter. One of these guys got to step up. I know there's been some talk about sliding Christian Conyer back into the safety position. Do we see that at some point? It should be really interesting. I think either way we're going to level up, and so that's going to be really exciting to see. Certainly.
There's something that was interesting for me. I made a big spring breakdown and it was like 17-minute video. And as I was putting numbers together, when I got to the secondary, and I was like, oh, he played in 5 games, he had 18 tackles. And then I went to the next guy, and he played in 5 games, had 18 tackles. Did somebody just die? Coach Rice dead? Is he dead?
Wait, what was that?
Did he just get murdered in his house? His camera's off, but I think he's dead.
All right, babe.
No, it was, but as I was going through it, it was like played in 5 games, 18 tackles. Played in 5 games, 18 tackles. You know why these guys were playing in 5 games? Because it was a youth movement, and the bowl game didn't count. So they played in 4 games. They could reserve a red shirt. They got that 5th game, and it's going to be interesting to me, man. I think safety is Andre Turrentine and somebody else. Who takes that other position? Can Jacoby Thomas be that? Like, I am skeptical of him. Like, you talk about Tulane
Agreed.
and Brazel, you talk about all MTSU. Are you ready for the SEC? Like, whereas
Right.
Jermod McCoy coming in at corner, I'm ready to go. And
Yes,
watching
sir.
Coach Jay break down his film, I'm like, okay, Ricky Gibson, Jermod McCoy, I'm sold. Star position, Jordan Thomas got a little bit of play. Obviously, behind him is a walk-on. That's a problem. That's why I think maybe Boo Carter does make an impact. Jacoby Thomas, that's a concern. It's a concern. It's a concern for me, if I'm just being honest.
But
Yeah, the secondary confirmed. Like, the secondary seriously concerns me this season. They make me nervous. They make me nervous every year, but this year in particular.
But I also
just
think
wonder-
in 22 the secondary wasn't great, and we
It
were
was
10-2.
horrible.
I mean, so I mean, this is a step up from last year. Even if they're average, they can keep us in games. But with that front getting home, the quarterbacks are going to have to make up their mind very quickly, and that plays
I mean,
to the
to be
advantage of our
fair, in
secondary.
22, we were also dropping 49 points a game, so there's that.
True, but I don't think we're going to be far off of it this year.
That's the question, Eric. Can we get back to being the top scoring offense and the defense take another step, right? Because they've improved every year. People hate to hear that. They want to fire Tim Banks. They've gotten better every year. They take another step this year. How much worse can it get? The secondary sucked. Everybody in the chat said it. Everybody on the panel said it. Does it get
I
worse?
think our front seven is going to be. I feel like
Elite.
that's going to be the best front
Elite.
seven we've had in a long time. I feel it, and we've had some under Chavis. We had some. Our front seven,
John Henderson,
almost always great. So I think we're going to see an excellent front seven. I think that saves the defense, even if our secondaries. Because you know what? Even under a John Chavis defense, our secondary wasn't the best. It was our front seven.
We had some good players in the secondary, but yeah, they weren't
That's
always the best. I mean, hell, they got beat over the top by Florida and Auburn.
Yes.
So you remember when Auburn had those two great runners? They still were throwing over top of them. I mean, they were throwing over top of them for 20, 30, 40-yard play action. It was just, yeah.
I'll tell you though, against the pass, I mean, for me, if Herring's going to play, he needs to get a lot better at defending the pass in the linebacker position. They were able to put him in a lot of conflict last year and a lot of, really curious situations where he looked a little lost. So we really need T-Lander to step up. We really need Arian Carter to step up, or the light to come on for Herring, which I think he can. I mean, he's had moments where he's looked great. It's just, he hadn't quite put it all together yet.
You just need to be more consistent.
Yeah, hopefully Coach Inge can, get those guys moving in lockstep together, because I do think it's an extremely talented group. Can we keep them all there? It's put up year for some of these linebackers, right, guys? I mean, Caleb Perry, I would say this is his spring to kind of get into a spot and maybe make some noise or not. Jalen Smith has got to make some noise or he's not going to make it. So will we see that? Should be really interesting.
As an old linebacker and linebackers coach, Arian Carter's the backup to Keenan Peely, right? But would you try to get them both on the field at the same time versus – and we saw what that did to Aaron Beasley. Everybody's saying, why did Aaron Beasley step back? They moved him back and forth the entire year, and I think it hurt him. Would you move Arian Carter, or would you go Keenan Peely and Elijah Herring with the ones, and then maybe Jeremiah T-Lander, Arian Carter with the twos?
I think
Who's
I'd run.
dying? Is that Coach Rice?
I think so.
I think he's muted though.
Yeah, he is muted.
No, he is muted. I don't know. Arian's sitting out of spring, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He is. Yeah.
Arian Carter's sitting out of spring.
Him and Herring both, I think, are sitting out, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So,
which I like. I mean, I wish they were there, but I think it's going to build linebacker depth.
The guys that Coach Jay just said need to step up or step out, they got an opportunity this spring.
Yeah,
absolutely, hands down.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I think Arian, hit a college weight room and really ballooned up in his upper body a little more than he'd planned on doing. Was a little top heavy. So maybe being able to get some extra leg days have kind of helped.
They need to put Keenan Peely
Harry.
more out.
Yeah,
Like,
so
truth be told, that's one of my concerns.
Yeah,
Super
Herring
Max
definitely
didn't
skipped
feel
leg
like
day a couple of
being
times last
bubble
year.
wrap.
So
personally, if it's me, I would slide Keenan out of that Mike into the Will and slide Arian into the middle linebacker into the
Get them
Mike
on the
position.
field at the same time.
Yeah. So if that's what I would do personally, but we'll see what ends up happening there. I know they want to keep Arian at the Will because they really like the prospect of Edwin Spillman playing the Mike next to Arian at the Will, and that I think that dog will have its day, and there'll be the time where we see that, but we're not just quite there yet. It's another position though where we're just really rich in talent, guys. I mean, the other defensive end position too, right? What is that, like Weathersby, West, and Dominic
Tyree
Bailey?
West. Yep.
Yeah, those that whole D line. Jeannie was
David
mentioning
Hobbs.
is David Hobbs,
It's
Jackson
loaded.
Moy, the kid from Cathedral and Stanford is they are just they're.
Where are you
deep.
gonna put that kid? Where are you gonna put him with
Yeah.
Omari Thomas, Bryson Easton, Elijah Simmons, Omar Norman Lott, David Hobbs, Tyree Weathersby? Where in the world? Like, why did Jackson Moy transfer here? I don't know that he'll ever play. Where are you gonna put him?
I think he's going to be the kid that I think you'll see Moy play a lot more the following season in Norman Lott's spot
There you
when
go.
he's
There you
gone.
go.
But so I think he's a kid they kind of brought here to have a year to progress. But
What's he got?
Omari was in that video you played
2 years.
earlier. Boogie Omari, wasn't he in that video? He was moving.
That dude's a
Omari?
stud. That dude's a stud. He's a game like that defensive line. Maybe the best we've seen since the 90s. Call me crazy. When I was doing the spring breakdown, I'm like, sweet Jesus. Like, this defensive line is so good. Like, I know the edge is good. I understand how good James Pierce is. The interior, again, Omari Thomas, Bryson Easton, Elijah Simmons, Omar Norman Lott, David Hobbs, Tyree Weathersby. Are you kidding me? Like, like Rodney Gardner wants to play 10 guys. He's got 15 that he can play.
If you include the Leo guys, that's 20.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, people are saying that.
got depth, though.
Yeah, Jordan Ross. People are saying Jordan Ross is going to play this year. I'm like, good Lord.
Right.
Over James Pierce and Joshua Josephs? It's like, come on. All right, we got to wrap this thing up. Again, we're going to be live Wednesday night, so I'm not going to let Coach Jay or Coach Rice answer this question. This may be something we talk about on Wednesday, but I'm going to ask everybody else. Give me one player. And I'm going to challenge, I'm sorry, Nate, you're at the bottom right corner. You got some people in front of you. You can't repeat. Give me one guy, Rocky Top Time, one guy, offensively, defensively, that you're the most excited to watch this spring.
Omari Thomas.
And
See
why?
how he develops. Because he has a lot of potential, and he's got that killer in him. He does. He showed it last year. He just needs to be – he's actually on the field for most of the games. Then he's going to be I would say Omar Norman Lott, and actually I was having a conversation with somebody else in the chat or on a different video from before that picked him, and it was between those two guys. But if we get that interior line shutting down the run, getting some pressure up the middle on passing downs, with
everybody in the chat, this is your time as well. Put it in the chat. What's the one guy you're looking forward to? Also got to roll back up to this chat from Tip Jackson. Says, seriously good to see some gals on here tonight. I think it starts with Mrs. Coach Jay for repping the chat. She's always in the chat. She makes you guys feel comfortable. And then Jenny's like, nope, I'm coming on. I'm going to come on and take over Talkin VAWLS. And that kind of opened the window, and everybody's like, okay, it's cool. I can come on. Amber's on here tonight. There's a bunch of you ladies in the chat. You are welcome to come on here and talk Tennessee football. We love it. We love that this is a family. It's a community. You guys are, your opinions are just as respected as mine, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, Tom's, everybody's. So Amber, give me a player. Who are you the most excited about? Offense, defense, wherever you want to go with it.
That's hard. I'm not going to state the obvious ones because I feel like everybody chooses them. I really want to see Cam Seldon. I'm excited to see what he can do. I thought he was impressive in the bowl game, which didn't really get talked about. And I just feel like we're just kind of seeing like him get into his potential. Like I'm excited to see him developed and to see what he can really do.
I think a lot of people understand how young he is, right? I mean, he's young. Like let's not like it's okay. It's okay. He's going to get better. I'm excited.
Yes.
For him too. What do you got, Jenny? Who are you the most excited about for this
Well,
this
Tom
spring
took
practice?
the one that I was gonna take, but I
What
guess
a jerk.
I guess my second is gonna be Pierce. I mean, it has to be. Just I was at the Citrus Bowl, and when that interception, I didn't even know what happened because because he was so quick. I was like, what? It just happened that quickly. Like,
He
and he
scored
was
more
fast.
points than Iowa's highly rated, powerful offense. That's what he did.
I mean, he's a generational defender that we don't get. I mean, you just don't get these number one potential top draft picks on a team ever. You don't get that often, and to have him on Tennessee's defense,
but it was just that quick, and he was fast, and I was like, what?
Also, side note, did any of you watch Austin Price's recent interview with him on he's so quiet and just soft-spoken, and I was not expecting that at all. I thought that was funny.
Shout out AP. That's the I told him when he was on the channel, that's the best content on YouTube.
Yeah.
And like nobody watches it. I'm like,
It's
you
so
kidding
good.
me? This is like the best content. Like it's the content that I strive to create and can't. Shout out AP, you prick. You get to do it and I don't. But it's like it's so good. It's so
you got
good.
the best channel on YouTube, brother. But I got to hop out of here and see if I can get this poor dog to
Hey,
go out.
shout out to Tom. Guess who's going to try to challenge this guy for the Talkin VAWLS Film Breakdown World Championship in April? Rocky Top Tom versus Coach J. Offensive line, Tennessee Targets. Can't wait coming your way in April. Looking forward to it. Appreciate you, Tom. Have a good night, brother.
Have fun.
See you. Have a good one.
Take it easy, Tom.
All right, Coach McGee, you're on the spot. What do you got, brother?
All right. Well, I mean, I'd like to go non-obvious, but of course I have to go with.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Let's go. Nobody else did. Take it.
I would be lying if I did not say that I was the most excited to see what Nico can do this season. We saw him in the bowl game, saw how he progressed, saw how he had poise, was able to get out of the pocket, and I want to see him do that against actual SEC teams instead of the BS Iowa team that we played that bowl game.
Agreed.
I love it, man. There's nothing wrong with going with the obvious when everybody else fails to mention the obvious. Like, let's be honest, Coach McGee, that's who everybody is the most excited about.
Oh, yeah. They'd be lying if they said they're not.
Yes. All right, good old Nate Pruitt. What do you got, brother?
Yes, sir. I'm going to go way off the. Nobody's probably thinking this, but I'm looking at tight ends. I'm looking at Holden. I'm looking forward to seeing him.
There you go.
I would say Slaughter. I wish I could pick two because the only thing that concerns me with our backs in that scenario, I should say, is the conditioning, and I wish they'd be able to make them a little more physical. And but anyways, that's not either here nor there. Back on the tight ends, I expect to see him and Nico, man, just obliterate some linebackers and make a lot of space and a lot of it's really tight ends. You want big plays, but a lot of times it's just opening up the field for our running backs and everything else to make their big plays. So I'm excited, man. It's
oof. I can feel the electricity in the air.
I like it. I like it. I like that we touched on enough tonight, but guess what? Next Sunday, we got more to talk about. And that's why I'm committed to doing these fan call-in shows every Sunday throughout spring practice because the diehards want to be here for it, right? We want to talk Tennessee football anytime we got an opportunity. Be here Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll play video games. We'll get weird. That's just what we do on Tuesday nights. Wednesday night, myself, Coach Jay, Coach Rice, Darby will be in the house. We'll have a couple of practices in the book. We'll be able to talk about that. And then next Sunday, we'll be right back here doing a fan call-in show. Shout out to you guys. I love the Talkin VAWLS faithful. I love talking Tennessee football all day, every day, 365. That's my passion. Look, I want the basketball team to win. I want the baseball team to win. I don't lose sleep over it. I love Tennessee football, and I think you guys too. So shout out to Coach Jay, to Coach Rice, to Coach McGee, to Amber, to Clark Kent, Vol Girl for Life, Jenny / Clark Kent / Superman / Wonder Woman / Prince Diana / Arthur / Aquaman / I could keep going. Shout out to good old Nate Pruitt. Love you guys. We'll do this thing again on Wednesday night. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
That's all.